Hi beautiful souls, it's Tan here again today with another video for you, and today I'm so excited because we're going to be looking at how to read your Gene Keys profile beginner's version. Because I am myself also kind of studying and getting into the Gene Keys. While we were kind of having our normal discussions on our online astrology platform, which is called Astrology for the Iranian Souls, if you haven't joined us, then I would really invite you to join us. So links in the description box below. But yes, while we were having some discussions on that platform, it came down to a question of how do I read my Gene Keys profile anyways? So this is what we're going to be doing today. It's going to be a quick, brief guide on how to read that. So if you want to get your Gene Keys profile, you'll first have to go to the Gene Keys website, and I'll provide a link to that in the description box below. So when you get there, you can first put in your birth information, of course. And then when you put in all your birth information, you will get what is called your hologenetic profile. And I do believe that this isn't the entire mapping of your Gene Keys, but if you would like a more in-depth of it, I think you might have to purchase it. So of course you can read the descriptions that they wrote here with regards to your genius, your love and prosperity. And basically, if you just keep scrolling down, you'll get your actual profile. This is what we're going to be going through today, and I would recommend that you turn on, you see at the right hand side there's a tab that says advanced. Turn all of that on. Show the birth data, show the Gene Keys, line, pathway, sphere, siddhi, gift, shadow, and then you can click to download a profile in PDF in order to keep your profile. So in today's video, I'm going to be using the profile of Marcus, who is one of the members on our online astrology hub. Hi Marcus. So thank you very much, Marcus, for actually participating in this, and he was really fast to submit his birth information for this video. The first thing that we look at when it comes to the Gene Keys is going to be these numbers inside the circle. These numbers, so you can see Marcus's life work, it says number 37.4. The Gene Key is Gene Key 37, and I currently have a series going on in my channel about each of the Gene Keys and how that corresponds to particular zodiac degrees and your vision key bird, because if you're not yet familiar with how each particular Gene Key works, it's going to be really hard to actually read your Gene Keys profile. So the first most basic thing is to get in touch with each particular number in your Gene Key and what that is all about. And for each particular Gene Key, there's going to be what is called the shadow. So that is the word that is at the bottom. That's your shadow level. So we can see that Marcus's shadow with regards to his life's work is weakness, because Gene Key 37, the shadow, is weakness. At the gift level, so from the shadow we can extract his gift. So the gift from weakness is equality. And if we go even higher, we get to the highest destiny, or in the Gene Keys it's called the Siddhi. This is the Siddhi, or the highest destiny of tenderness. And this particular number, Gene Key, is in correspondence with the zodiac sign of Pisces. So you can see that Marcus has a sun in Pisces, 9 degrees. That is equivalent, or is the same as Gene Key 37. And if we look at his human design body graph, we can see that his personality sun, his conscious sun, is 37.4, and that is the Pisces, 9 degrees. In the human design, this is a gate that is in the solar plexus over here, gate 37. So that's how this is all linking up. Okay, so if we go back to his Gene Keys, now we want to see what are these particular circles doing. So first I just want to talk to you about Gene Key 37 then. We shall do that. But because it is an important one, and everything else in Marcus's profile leads to his ability to master or to get to the gift or the Siddhi level of Gene Key 37 from the shadow. So this particular Gene Key, when it comes to weakness, it is really about understanding that in the current modern world, weakness or strength, shall we say strength, is no longer attributed to physical strength. Unlike in the past, when physical strength was something that the society valued, but with regards to the current development of technology and progress, physical strength is no longer something that should be as valued as before, because we're not on survival mode like we were in the past. And this is the age of Aquarius, is going from that Saturnian being of being in a survival mode of needing physical strength to a different type of strength. Marcus actually has a pretty important gene key when it comes to going from that Saturnian being to a particular Uranian being. The weakness is coming from the fact that the masculine and the feminine principles, the masculine yang and the feminine yin forces that exist within all of us is always been out of balance. That's where it's actually coming from. And so what happens is that women in our society may feel somewhat not capable, or they have to get married and then they have to take care of the kids and they're limited to that. And if a woman, let's say, is married and then she feels that there's something unequal in the marriage, and she decides to not take care of the kids and work, and the father is also working and the mother is working, who is the one that is being affected by this? It is the child. The child is the one that's going to have to be put in childcare, that is going to not have enough time to spend with the parents, right? So now, of course, when I'm saying this may be something that Marcus experiences in his life. It could be some form of this experience. So it is the actual identification with gender in the first place that is the cause of the shadow or the weakness. So if you are a man and you want to be more feminine, for example, you are still identifying with your gender. If you are a woman, physically woman, and you are wanting to be more masculine or assertive, you're still identifying with the gender. So it is about understanding that it does not matter what your physical gender is anymore in this time and age. It is really about understanding that you have both masculine and feminine principles within you. You have yin and yang, and they need to be balanced in yourself, in your body. So this is one of the things that Marcus is probably working with in his life in order to reach the gift of equality. By trying to be more feminine, this can mean, for example, being overly sentimental, overly emotional. So Marcus may experience this. Or if you're trying to be more masculine, it can turn into being somebody who is a bit aggressive, a bit too assertive, too forceful. So Marcus may also experience this part of himself. But if he is able to find the balance of the masculine and the feminine within himself, he can reach the gift of equality. His gift of equality is about understanding that there's no winners, there's no losers, right? That humanity is one whole family. That the current, governmental institutions with regards to education has put an emphasis on individual development. It overemphasizes on individual achievements. It causes conflict even within the family itself. Sibling rivalry, for example. A rivalry between mother and father. Mother wanting to be a little bit more masculine, father wanting to be acknowledged for his feminine. So we can see it within the family. And so at the gift level, Marcus may be somebody who is looking for a new type of family. This is what this gene key is about. It's a new type of family. And families where families don't have to compete with another family, or there's no need for competition within the family itself, meaning that humanity as a whole can be one large unit of family. Marcus may be working to be more giving, and true giving is not about giving so that you get something in return. It's about giving from your heart. That's what a family does. A real giving can be seen when the parents take care of the child and they don't expect anything from the child in return. That is the giving. Sometimes siblings have to give to one another out of love and not ask for anything in return. Sometimes friends give to each other without asking for anything in return. That is real love. That's giving. So practically speaking, Marcus may become somebody who is wanting to establish a new type of social framework that may unite businesses together, that may unite education or the family unit, so that there's this equal sharing of recognition, of achievement, of giving. So ultimately, it's like Marcus will be working throughout Marcus's life, because this is the life's work of establishing a new type of a new model for community that is based on giving, rather than the need to control or the need to always barter and negotiate. If I'm giving to you unconditionally and you're giving unconditionally to me, that's equality. So of course, now at the highest level of this, Marcus may even get to a place where he is experiencing tenderness in his life. And tenderness can be seen at the very basis of it from the love that a mother has to a child. That love is very tender. The mother would not hurt the child, the baby, that tender care for the baby, right? So if Marcus could get to this particular Siddhi level, he will experience the sacrifice or the surrendering or giving up of the old ways, the old outdated ways of looking at the family unit completely. So there's going to be totally new model of that based on equality and tenderness. This can be like way in the future, but maybe he's the start of this, maybe he's the pioneer, but maybe way in the future we're able to have a family unit in which both mother and father nurture the child equally, and there may not be one mother, there may not be one father. We may have a child may be brought up by several different caretakers who play different various roles in the child's life, and there's tenderness there, there's a lot of love. So that is Marcus's life work, but we can see that there are several green circles, right? And each green circle makes up what is called the genius, or the activation sequence of the gene keys. So it is your genius. It's what you're here to do. It's what you can contribute and give to the world. But in order for Marcus to get to this life's work, he has to go through the gene key of evolution first. The evolution and the life's work are challenges to each other, because it's the opposite point of Marcus's Pisces sun. This is the Virgo archetype, gate 40, gene key 40. So if he is falling into this shadow of weakness, he will experience exhaustion. That's going to be his challenge. It's just feeling completely burnt out by trying to either be too sentimental, too very emotional and feminine, or be very masculine and assertive, or trying too hard to make things work in his community. But of course, if he can transcend to a place of tenderness, then he will experience the divine will, and that is going to be his greatest growth, is to understand divine will. And of course, I can't go through all of the different, gene keys, but then we also have the radiance key on the left, and the radiance key is what brings wellness and good health. So as Marcus is working in this life's work, for all of us really, we all need something that keeps us healthy, and that is the radiance key. The radiance key is like also that hidden gift that shows how you can get in touch with your sense of well-being, because when you're glowing on the inside, you will radiate to the world. So the radiance key is your unconscious sun, because if we look at Marcus's human design, you can see that the design sun, or the unconscious sun, is at gate 9, and that is gene key number 9. And I forgot to tell you, but the evolution is your conscious earth. So if you look at his human design, we can see that the earth, the opposite point of the sun, keeps the sun grounding, brings a challenge to keep the sun grounded. That is at gate 40. And then we have the other part of the activation sequence, and that is purpose. Purpose is the deepest part of your gene key. You see it's at the very bottom. The purpose is about, it's the deepest gift that's hidden in your DNA, but you have to be brave enough to unlock it. And it's important to unlock this particular part because you can see that it's linked to what is called the love sequence, the red part of your gene key. Once you can unlock this part, there's going to be an inner peace that is inside of you that's going to radiate peace outside of you. And this part of the gene key is associated with the unconscious earth, because if we look at Marcus's human design, his unconscious earth is at gate 16. And this is gene key number 16. All right, so what is the love sequence now? The love sequence is really about, it's the ancestral imprinting, which influences relationships in your life. And what I feel I've discovered from the love or the Venus sequence is that because, you know, all the gene keys are linked, right? So if you could, through relationships, grow and learn more about yourself and who you are, because relationships are a part of our genetic code. That's the beauty of it, is that through relationships, we learn more about ourselves, we become ourselves, we know what it is that we are here to do as our purpose through the reflection of relationships. So I think that's really interesting there. But okay, when we're looking at the love sequence, we want to look at the core, gene key of the core first, because the core is your deepest wound. It has been imprinted when you were there in the womb. It's once you can heal this deepest wound, then it becomes part of your vocation as well. As you can see, it's a part of the vocation. And this is correspondence with your unconscious Mars, or your design Mars in human design. So the SQ, or the spiritual quotient, is an imprinting from the birth to until you were 7 years old. It is actually in the gene keys a point of love. It's how you open your heart to receive love from your parents. But then again, once you open your heart to receive that love from the parents, maybe you didn't quite get the love or the attachment that you had hoped to get. So therefore there's a shadow as well of this love sequence, and we can see that Marcus's shadow is force. But he can also transcend the force to reach majesty, and that is how he loves. He loves with majesty. Anyway, so yeah, it shows how you can be most fulfilled in love when you reach the Siddhi level. And this is in correspondence with your unconscious or design Venus. And then we have the EQ, or the emotional quotient. This is an imprinting from 7 to 14 years old. It's what you learn from your parents that you use as a defense mechanism. That's how our emotions work, right? We can use our emotions to defend ourselves, to protect ourselves. So it's that coping mechanism or defense mechanism. But it can also show how we need to release our inner child to let that roam free instead of being on our defenses of the past. And then we have the IQ, or the intelligence quotients, which is an imprinting from the age of 14 to 21 years old. And it's about how you learn to use your mind to control emotions, which can lead to narrow thinking. And we don't want to get into the mind controlling the emotions. The way to work with the IQ is to balance it with the EQ. So we can see here with Marcus, his IQ at the gift level, for example, is graciousness, and his EQ is innovation. So he's definitely here to bring something more innovative into his love and relationships. You know, but he's here to do it with grace and not with dishonor at the shadow level. This is correspondence with your conscious Venus. And then we have the attraction gene key. The attraction gene key shows the people that you draw into your life that can bring certain karmic relationships to you and even bring power struggles. But it's ultimately kind of like a soulmate, moonmate placement where these people can help you grow from that. This higher vibration of this gene key, the Siddhi level or the gift level, unlocks tantric sexuality. And this is in correspondence with your unconscious moon. So what I'm seeing from this is that it kind of moves upwards, right? So it's kind of like the people that you attract into your life, these shadow vibrations of these people, meaning that, Marcus may attract people who are provocative in one way or another to him, into his life, so that he can learn and grow from that and have a sense of liberation through these kind of karmic relationships. And once you work with the most intimate relationships in your life, it kind of moves upwards because you're undoing your karma. You're having this IQ, EQ balance of intelligence. You really are able to find love. And then through that, we have certain breakthroughs with regards to what our purpose here is in the world, because we're learning more about ourselves through relationships. We're unlocking the deeper parts of ourselves. We reach a point of breakthrough. Oh, this is my purpose. This is what I'm here to do. And then we get to the pearl sequence, which I'm going to talk about right now. The pearl itself is this gene key of you reap what you sow. It's the rewards that can flood into your life like a dream come true. Once you transcend the fear level of this gene key, it brings prosperity, it brings abundance into your life. And it can also unlock the gifts of the other gene keys as well. And this is your conscious Jupiter. So we can see that with Marcus's pearl, at the shadow level, it is stress. But at the Siddhi level is stillness. So in stillness, Marcus is probably really intuitive in how to take the right actions to do something, taking a less action, having abundance in himself. That is going to put out an energy into the universe that he already has it all, and he can probably bring a lot into his life in terms of happiness and abundance. The culture gene key. If you are operating from the shadow of this gene key, it directly blocks prosperity in your life. Meaning that if Marcus is indulging in provocation, it is going to block his abundance. And this is interesting because we can see that Marcus's culture is the same as his attraction. So maybe through attracting certain people who are in their shadow, and if Marcus is also still in his shadow, through relationships may actually block his prosperity and abundance. If he is working with it, getting to a place of liberation, which with whatever it means in this particular gene key, he will be able to draw the right types of people to him who can show and support him into prosperity. This is the unconscious Jupiter in your chart. So yeah, that's how you navigate the gene keys real quick. And of course, just like in human design, the numbers that come after the gene key number, that is the line. Just like in human design, there are different lines. There are 6 lines because in the I Ching, there are 6 hexagrams. So real quickly, so the lines are basically the path, okay, that you have to walk through in order to get to where you want to go with regards to the Siddhi level, each particular gene key. The first line, for example, is a path of inner essence. It's a path of introspection, investigation, and self-empowerment. Line number 2 is the path of expression, the path of this ease of being, stepping into your natural gifts and talents. The third line is the path of adaptation, exploration, discovery, going through trials and errors. The fourth line is the line, or is the path of friendship, connection, community, and love. And as we can see that Marcus, with regards to his life's work, he's a line 4. So he's all about community, building that community, building a family that encompasses the whole of humanity. Line 5 is the path of practicality, organization, power, leadership. Line 6 is the path of a visionary, person who oversees. It's the path of being somebody who is educational, kind of like a role model. So yeah, basically that is how you read the gene keys. I hope I've covered everything for you guys. Is there anything I haven't covered? So yes, beautiful souls, I am currently making a series to talk about each of the gene keys in correspondence with each zodiac degrees. So, as you go through that particular series, I hope that it's going to be able to help you to read both your natal chart, your human design body graph, and your gene keys with much precision and clarity there. And once again, thank you, Marcus, for giving your birth chart as an example in this video. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button below if you haven't. If you already subscribed, thank you very much for coming along. And like I said, we currently have a very enthusiastic online astrology hub where there's a lot of discussions about astrology going on. So if you'd like to join us, the links are in the description box below. And yes, I do birth chart readings, synastry readings. All the information is on my website. Do check that out. And I'll see you very soon, beautiful souls. Bye!